DC is a kind of the Rome of the modern world. This is the center of global power. Of course, it's contested. We are living in an increasingly fluid world, but this is still the first among equals. So it's where the big historic decisions, good and bad, are taken, both in terms of the rest of the world, foreign policy decisions, but also in terms of the problems American democracy has been going through. So it is a stage of drama, Washington, D.C. It is a journalist's paradise, really. So I became a journalist because I wanted a window on the world, on how the world works, how power works, how people in power operate. The Financial Times publication is a perfect perch from which to do that. Quite a lot of FT readers, famously so, have their money invested, so they can't really afford sentiment or propaganda because they're making financial decisions partly with the aid of our publication. So they can expect, at least on the reporting side, very rigorous, very objective, very neutral coverage of issues of huge importance in terms of political risk, of cross-border events that impact markets and that impact the political economies that we all live in.
So what inspired you to become a journalist, and particularly at the FT?
So my inspiration was my family is a lot of politicians, including my father, who was in Parliament, and I felt that this was a better window on what they do. But I also felt that a lot of the power and sort of way of framing the world was shifting from politics to the media. And as a publication, there is no better resourced or more highly regarded place than the Financial Times to be a journalist.
And what has been the biggest moment of your career so far?
I would say that it's hard to compete with the election of Trump in 2016. Covering that campaign, I realized something very profound was happening in American democracy and Western democracy in general. And the election of Trump and the shockwaves that sent around the world as well as in this country, it's hard to really compete with that in terms of significance of world events.
And what is the best thing about Washington, D.C.?
It's where big geopolitical decisions are taken, and it's where some of the big trends that are disrupting democracies in the West are happening. It's a beautiful place to live, and for a journalist, it's hard to get more dramatic action than you get in Washington, D.C.
Than anywhere else?
Than anywhere else.